Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. If you haven't checked it out, I released a video on the F-14, which is amazing aircraft, and yeah, kind of took the spotlight a bit from other amazing aircraft that I like very much. And one of them that I want to talk about in the upcoming days, I'm going to talk to most of the new stuff anyway, but this is one of the first that I wanted to talk about after the F-14. Is the technically is the Lim-5P, which is basically it's a MiG-17PF made in Poland. So yeah, it is a normal MiG-17. You know, there's no a special thing about it, but it is a modification. I mean, compared to the MiG-17PF, it's basically the same aircraft. The Lim-5 is being basically, I'm saying basically a lot, but which is, it means that it is technically a license-built version of the MiG-17. They built, of course, the Lim-6, which is a little bit more famous, and it's just a little bit better. And there are some other pylons and stuff. But anyway, we have in game the Lim-5P, so a MiG-17PF. For the German Tech tree, it's under the MiG-15 bis before the MiG-19S. So I actually talked about this aircraft on the third gen and stuff like that. Aircraft that can come before we get into the full fourth gen stuff like the F-14 and MiG-29 and stuff like that. And yeah, in that video I talked about how it's supposed to be a bridge between the MiG-15 and the MiG-19. And why is that? Of course, we already have the normal MiG-17 on the normal Tech 3. We have the MiG-17AS, which is a Cuban MiG-17 with just a normal MiG-17, but it can carry the R3Ss, you know. And of course, we have the F5 Shenyang, which is an export variant of the J5, which is already a version of the MiG-17F built in China. So we already have three variants of this MiG, or of this platform, you know. But this is a new version. Basically, the difference is between the normal MiG-17 that we have in the Soviet 3, of course, is three additions that we need. Everything else is basically the same, but we have three additions. First things first, of course, we have the VK1F, which is the same VK1 that we see in the MiG-17, but it has an afterburner. So it has the injectors on the after the turbine on the engine. It is still, you know, the normal type of this era engine. It is a centrifugal compressor, so it is very simple and very easy to build, and just a very early type of jet engine, similar to this type of that we already seen on other MiGs, and similar to the Meteor, for example, or most of the British engines from the 40s and early 50s. But yeah, it's basically the best variant of that engine, you know. Has the afterburner. The second modification, of course, is the radar that we can see on the right side of the screen and on the nose of the aircraft. Uses the Rp5 radar, which is the same radar as on the MiG-19P that we have in the Soviet 3. And yeah, it's just a very limited radar. Of course, it's early 50s technology, so it is kind of limited to within visual range detections. I actually managed to detect targets, small targets, you know, like G91s and stuff like that, from 8 to 9 kilometers. So it seems to be working properly, you know. The normal range in real life would be like 10 kilometers for a fighter-size aircraft. And of course, it has a lot of ground clutter, as you see. And yeah, it's kind of hard to use. Sometimes it's better to be used in situations like night battles or stuff like that, or dawn or something like that. But in general, it's not that useful, which makes it kind of an extra weight that you have to take. You know, I still think it's amazing to have a radar. I don't care if it's a extra weight or anything like that. I just think that it's really good, especially in simulator, that I'm going to make videos about it. But yeah, and the third modification, of course, is the Canon. So we don't have the 37mm anymore. We have only the 23mm. And we have 3 of them instead of 2, so it basically changes one of the 37 for one 23mm, and that can be seen as a bad change at first, but trust me, it's better this way. It's way easier to hit targets, and it's just a way better way to actually get kills. You know, it's just that the bullet drop will be the same for all 3 weapons, so it's basically it's just easier to aim, you know. Even though I missed some shots there, but it is a little bit easier to aim instead of having 2 muzzle velocities and 2 weights and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, basically this is the 3 differences that we have, which is pretty cool to have this in the line, because we already have the F5, which is basically a MiG-17F, as I said. It doesn't have the radar, but it is a premium, and you know, it's good to have this type of missile aircraft in the tech tree. You know, it is, for me, I mean, it's 9.0 because of Germany actually not getting any missiles in the early 50s and stuff like that, and basically, I think only the PFU variant actually used the missiles in the German Air Force, but it kind of doesn't need it. You know, it would be nice to have 2 R3Ss or an R55 or even the RS2U, which is a beam riding missile, which is really bad, but still, it would be nice to have some kind of missile for only one reason, which is when you fight top tiers, or I mean up tiers, you know, this is probably the main thing about this aircraft, together with the compression. Of course, it's still a MiG-17, so it has a lot of compression at high speeds. Remember, it doesn't have any hydraulic systems on the elevator, so it tends to do a lot of compressing when at high speeds, so always remember that. But it is a very, very light aircraft for the power, and yeah, it's amazing, amazing. Try to do dogfights from a vertical perspective, as you're going to see. And yeah, basically it is a normal MiG-17, but it is faster, you know. It has the radar, which helps sometimes, and the difference in the cannon, which helps a little bit. So yeah, not having the missiles is probably the reason why they actually made it 9.0. And as I was saying, the missiles would help against the up tiers, because in this match, for example, I am in a normal, you know, like 8.7, 8.3 battle, so it's kind of a down tier, and it is just going to make me a little bit, tiny bit OP, just a bit, you know, because my power and my turning capabilities are way better than everybody else's. But normally, like 10 out of, like, I don't know, 8 out of 10 times you will get a lot of A10s shooting AIM-9Ls at you. A lot of faster aircraft like the Mirage Milan, I saw a couple of times. Aircraft like the F-104s, stuff like that are 10.0, 9.7, MiG-19s, stuff like that, that of course you are a little bit, you know, caught in the bad side of the stick, you know. But still, it is capable of fighting any of those aircraft, and with that you can actually win most of the dogfights, because your thrust to weight is really good compared to most of the aircraft that you face, even the up tiers. So you ended up having a lot of power to actually do this vertical stuff like I'm doing with the F2H. So yeah, it's a long awaited aircraft for my part. I mean, since the addition of the normal MiG-17, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe even more, maybe, I've been waiting for this aircraft. And yeah, it is just it was the logical step in the right direction back in the day, but they actually went for the MiG-19 back in the day with the Soviet Union. So yeah, I was actually hoping for a more slow progress kind of thing, but they normally do this. They jump a little bit, not too much, but a little bit always, So yeah, but finally we are getting this version. It's such an amazing aircraft. It has an amazing cockpit, just yeah, really really good, and with the radar and stuff all included in the cockpit, so you can use it in simulator and be very realistic about it. I want to make videos on simulators on every aircraft that was added, together with the normal kind of reviews that I do. I don't do proper reviews, and if you want to see that kind of thing, let me know in the comments. But the normal, I just try to say a little bit about what do I do with the aircraft and how do I fly it. Just show some gameplay, which is, it's complicated because there's no like a recipe to fly every aircraft good, you have to just learn by yourself and get better with some specific types of aircraft. For example, I'm not the greatest player with an F4, those chunky, large aircraft. Um, Normally, that are not that fast, but they turn a little bit, and they're kind of the mix, and um, I like normally I like this type of gameplay. Light aircraft, very powerful, with some good cannons and few, not a few rounds, but very powerful rounds. And it's just good. And everybody has a play style, so you have to find yours. But anyway, I'm getting off track a little bit. But yeah, the MiG-17. I mean, it's for most, it will be just another MiG-17 that nobody cares. But for a few players, for me included, I think it's one of the best additions for the patch actually. I still think that the F14 is one of the best ones because it's the best one, just because you open up the box for all the 4th gen stuff that are probably coming this year and next year. And but these little things are just so cool, man, to have this type of aircraft. I mean, if you like the aircraft, it's like if somebody likes the Scimitar, for example. It's not a particularly amazing aircraft, or it doesn't have anything about it, it's just kind of weird looking and stuff. But there are some few players that like that aircraft very much, and they enjoy flying it very much. And this is one for me, for example. There's not a lot of people that will enjoy flying it. Like I said, it has its problems, it's a 40s design basically, so it still has its very high compressibility, as I said, but it is so light and so fun to fly that it is, it's worth it, So make sure to try it out, make sure to try it out. It's like a slower MiG-19 kind of thing, or a faster MiG-15, is basically between those two. And for you guys that don't have the Soviet tree and only have the German tree, make sure to get this aircraft, because it is an aircraft that was not added in the German tree, and now we have it. And yeah, I'm glad that it is here right now. I really hope that we get some skins on it, even though I really enjoyed the polished ones. I think we should get some kind of green camouflage from the DR. So yeah, amazing aircraft, man. I really love it. Remember to always check your ammo. It's not a very large amount of ammo, but still 300 rounds for 3 cannons is alright. Still think about the fuel. I always try to use 20 minutes, okay? And I think the max is 28 minutes when you're fully upgraded, and basically we spawn in with 30, and it's just too much, you become a heavy aircraft, and you're not gonna use that much fuel. And remember of the temperature of the engine as well. It tends to overheat in some maps, so always remember that as well. So yeah, last kill, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I see you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.